everybody, Karen here. I am a yoga instructor with the Butler HRC, and thanks so much for joining me for some yoga. It's going to be a strong flow to start, so we'll really get the blood pumping for a little bit, and I like to call this a really nice warrior series, so we'll get into some warrior poses just to find that grounding and that inner strength. We'll definitely work on some leg strength and core strength and even arm strength with those and some balance. And then my favorite part at the end, we're really going to chill and do some restorative poses. So for those, you may want to have some support handy, maybe even some yoga blocks, or if you don't have those, you can also use a nice big stack of books. A couple of big books will do the trick. And most importantly, a blanket. So blankets are great because I can really adjust the size very readily, so I can get some cushioning. It can be on the thin side or folded over more for a little bit more height. So just go ahead and grab a blanket for sure, maybe a couple of blocks, and maybe even have a wall or a chair nearby if you ever need a little help with balance. Nice to have something nearby for that. And let's go ahead and get started. So where we will begin, you can just put the props to the side, and we'll begin just lying face up on the mat. And from here, we'll just begin with a few deep breaths. So in yoga, we always want to link the movement directly to the breath. So it's great to start with nice deep breaths and just check in and see how you're feeling. And we're going to try and lengthen and deepen each inhale and each exhale here. Just be where you are comfortable, so you may even want to have the soles of your feet on the mat and the knees up if you're feeling a little tweaky in your low back. Just again, be where it's comfortable and where you can breathe deeply here. Feel the belly begin to move a little bit more as you breathe, and then feel the movement coming up into the chest area. As you exhale, the chest falls and then the belly. As you inhale, belly rises, chest rises. As you exhale, chest falls, belly falls. And then we'll begin to link that movement with the breath. So just make sure that you're still breathing long, slow, and deep as we go. So use that next inhale to sweep the arms up overhead, flexing the feet here. And as we exhale, let's sigh out through the mouth. Bring the hands back down by the sides. A couple of rounds like this. Inhale to flex the feet, reach up overhead. Exhale to relax the feet completely, bring the hands back down. Release the jaw as you sigh out. One more round this way. And then we'll have one more nice inhale up overhead. Exhaling this time to hug the knees into the chest. And just begin to roll it around here. Feel that low back just moving against the mat. Give yourself a little massage. And then from here, we'll place the hands right on top of the kneecaps. We'll begin to circle the knees around one direction for the circle. Just pick one. Feeling the low back move against the mat here. And then just reverse that circle. Just going slowly so we can feel everything that's happening. All right, and then when you're good and ready, we'll use that next exhale to hug the knees into the chest. We'll inhale to take the arms up to the sides, and we'll exhale to sweep the knees over to the right, looking out over that left arm. You might even want to pick up the hips a little bit and move them a little bit to the left.
And we're just hanging out in this twist, nice and gentle here. As we inhale, we're going to make our way back to center, centering up the hips. And then as we exhale, just sweeping the knees over to the left, looking out over that right arm, and maybe even zhuzhing the hips over to the right a little bit. See what feels good to you. See if you can relax both sides of the shoulders, both shoulder blades into the mat here. Deep breaths. And connecting with the breath and even seeing what's going on with the muscles of the face here. Am I furrowing my brow? Can I let that go? And as we inhale, we're going to center up the hips again, center up the knees. Take another nice big stretch up overhead, fingers to toes. And then as we exhale, we're going to hug the knees in. This time maybe even a little tighter as we pick the torso up off the mat. And we're going to round out the low back a lot. So feel the low back as round as you can as we begin a little journey, rocking and rolling forward and back. And maybe increasing the intensity here until we roll up to seated. You could always roll over to one side and come up that way. So from here, we'll simply make our way to a tabletop position, hands and knees. So hands and knees here, we've got the shoulders stacked over the wrists, we've got the hips stacked over the knees. And from here into a cat-cow flow. So cow is first. We inhale to take the chest forward, the tailbone high, squeeze the shoulder blades towards each other. As we exhale, we're going to tuck and round into a nice cat arch. All right, inhaling to expand the front side of the body, squeezing shoulder blades. Exhale to expand the back side of the body, stretch the shoulder blades apart, like contract that core. And inhaling to take it forward, exhaling to arch. Let's take a couple more rounds this way in our cat and cow. This is really nice for the spine, kind of a message to wake up here and to get some of these fluids flowing more freely between the vertebrae. And then next exhale we take, let's sit it back into an extended child's pose. So we're going to take the knees out wide, the big toes together, and we're going to crawl the hands forward. Forehead can rest on the mat. If this feels like you need a little bit more cushioning on your forehead, you could always grab that blanket and place it under the forehead here. We'll be here for a few breaths. All right, as we inhale, we're gonna crawl the fingertips forward, maybe even a little bit more as we exhale. So you can melt yourself into the mat a little bit. All right, inhaling to look forward between the hands, and as we exhale, we're gonna crawl the hands over to the right, sit the hips over to the left. Notice that stretch in the left side of the body here, just playing and exploring. As we inhale, we'll come to center, and as we exhale, we'll travel over to the left side of the mat with the hands. Hips move right. Notice if one side of the torso felt a little bit tighter than the other. And just breathe into what's happening. As we inhale, we're going to walk it back to center. And as we exhale, we're going to come back up to that tabletop shape. From that tabletop, we'll walk the hands forward an inch or two, tuck the toes under, inhaling, and then exhaling. Send the tailbone high up to downward facing dog. All right, from here we pedal out the heels, bending one knee, straightening the other. In order to take the weight a little bit out of the wrists, we can start to almost claw the fingertips so that the palms come up off of the earth a little bit. So just experiment with taking that pressure off of the wrists here. You can always come down to the forearms if the pressure feels like a little bit too much on the wrists. Let's give that head a little shake. Just let the head go, let the neck go here. Let's inhale to come up on both sets of tiptoes now, and we'll exhale to take the heels back toward the mat. Just as far as you want to go today. Use your arm strength to increase that stretch in the backside of the body. So push back with the arms, chest toward the thighs. All right, let's inhale to look forward between the hands, and exhale, we'll walk it forward until the feet land about between the hands. So now we can come back to child's pose at any time during the practice if anything's feeling like a little bit too much. And your breath will tell you if that breath starts getting choppy. It's a good indicator to come to something a little bit more restorative. But here, if you're with me, just grabbing the elbows, swaying side to side here, knees nice and soft. I'm going to take a big inhale here. And as we exhale, the hands are going to fall wherever they want to land. As we inhale, we're going to unroll, think one vertebra at a time, making our way towards standing. The end of your inhale sends your palms to touch overhead, and exhaling will take it to heart center, finding Samasthiti, equal balance. So that means equal weight between the feet, equal pressure between the hands. Eyes can be closed, your gaze can be just softly forward. Breathing deeply here. Anchoring through the feet, but relaxing through the toes and really feeling that full length of the spine. Maybe even hugging into your core and even hugging up through your pelvic floor muscles. Just really engage through the center here. And then we'll begin a series of Sun Salutation A with some variations here. So we're going to inhale the arms high and exhale to dive forward. Inhaling to a number 7 shape here, hands on shins. And then exhaling, hands come down, and we're going to step it back to a nice strong plank. Big inhale in that plank. And first time out here, we're going to exhale, knees, chest, and chin coming to the floor, elbows hug in, chest comes down. Pranam or inchworm inhales us to a little baby cobra. Go ahead and roll the shoulders around here a little bit, and then come up, sending the chest upward. A couple of breaths here to lift up out of the low back. And then as we exhale, we're going to tuck the toes, send it back to downward facing dog. As we inhale, looking forward between the hands. As we exhale, one foot then the other steps forward. We're going to inhale to that flat back, number 7. Exhaling, belly toward the thighs. And inhaling to rise. Let's unfold from the hip joints here. And reaching the arms up overhead. Exhaling to heart center. So you can stay with this version, knees, chest, chin. And a cobra, or this time we'll actually be trying out a reverse push-up called Chaturanga Dandasana and an upward facing dog. So we're going to inhale to rise. We're going to exhale to fold forward, inhaling to that number 7 shape, and exhaling, hands plant, stepping it back to plank. Now that same exhale is going to take you down, send the chest forward. Biceps about parallel with the torso, so don't take the torso too low. And then that inhale is going to take us to upward facing dog, a back bend with the hips and knees up off the floor. Exhaling to take it back into downward facing dog. Few breaths here. So your choice as we go through these transitions, you can take knees, chest, chin, or pranam. You can take Chaturanga Dandasana, that more intense reverse push-up. You can rest in child's pose. As long as you keep breathing deeply, we're all good. Inhaling to look forward between the hands. Exhaling, stepping one foot then the other forward. Inhaling to that number 7 shape. Exhaling, belly toward the thighs. And then as we inhale, we rise. Think of hinging upward from the hip joints with a nice long spine. Palms touch, and then exhaling to heart center. So we'll start going at a little bit faster tempo here. Inhaling to rise. Exhaling to fold forward. Inhaling up to that number 7 shape. Exhaling, the hands plant. Step or maybe even hop back. Same exhale takes you to chaturanga. Don't go too low here. Inhaling up to upward facing dog or cobra. Exhaling back to downward facing dog. Make sure you take your version that works for you. 3 deep breaths here. And then we inhale to look forward between the hands. Exhaling, maybe we spring load and hop or step forward. Inhaling to number 7 shape, flat back. Exhaling, belly toward the thighs. Inhaling to rise. Standing tall and exhaling to heart center. Let's take one more round like this. So inhaling to rise, exhaling, circulation's moving. Inhaling, number 7 shape, exhaling, hands plant. Hop or step back and reverse push-up of your choice. Inhaling to your back bend of choice. Exhaling to downward facing dog. 3 deep breaths here. Always checking in with that breath. Inhaling to look forward. Exhaling, light hop or step forward. Inhaling to that flat back, Ardha Uttanasana, and then exhaling forward fold Uttanasana. Inhaling to rise, exhaling to heart center. And from here, from our A, we'll come into Sun Salutation B. Again, lots of opportunities to vary it here, but first thing we'll do is sit back into a chair pose so that hips come back, the arms come forward. You can have this feeling that you're leaning into a wall behind you. When you start to lose that balance, you'll know to really engage that core. Good. So just dial it here, sitting a little bit deeper. Weight is definitely more in the heels than the toes. All right, from here, take a big inhale to rise and exhale to fold forward. We're going to inhale to come to that flat back, and we're going to exhale to step or hop back. Just like our Sun Salutation A, your reverse push-up of choice, your back bend of choice. Exhaling to downward facing dog. Now that same exhale takes the right foot forward, back foot pivots and plants, inhaling to warrior 1. So left hip forward, right hip back, bending into that front knee. We're going to take a couple of breaths here this first time, just to settle into this shape. And then as we exhale, the hands are going to come down, stepping that right foot back. Again, you got your reverse push-up of choice. You're inhaling to your back bend of choice, exhaling to downward facing dog. Same exhale takes the left foot forward, back foot pivots and plants about 45 degrees. Inhaling our way up to warrior 1. Nice and strong in the low body. I'm going to center up the hips as much as possible without torquing too much in that back right knee. A couple of breaths here to settle in. Take a big inhale, and then as we exhale, guess what? Another reverse push-up of choice. Remember, you can go from the knees, inhaling to your back bend of choice, and exhaling, finding downward facing dog. Remember, you can always be in cobra with the knees on the floor instead of off. All right, 3 deep breaths here.
And then as we inhale, we look forward between the hands. As we exhale, take a spring loaded hop or step it forward. We're going to inhale to our chair pose. Exhaling here. Inhaling. And exhaling to stand up and take it to heart center. Let's try another round, this time a little bit faster tempo for our sun salutation B. So that was one round. Here we go. Our second round, inhaling to rise, exhaling to fold forward, inhaling to number 7 shape, exhaling to plant the hands, take it back, reverse push-up of choice, inhaling to back bend of choice, exhaling downward facing dog, right foot steps forward, back foot pivots and plants, warrior 1, inhaling, exhaling to take it down. Woo! Another reverse push-up of choice here, inhaling to your back bend of choice, exhaling downward facing dog, left foot steps forward, inhaling warrior 1, exhaling to take it down, and a nice warrior reverse push-up. Back bend of choice, exhaling to downward facing dog, where we're going to take 5 deep breaths. Another chance to reconnect with our breath. After 5 deep breaths, we take a big inhale to look forward. We exhale to spring load and hop or step. We inhale to a chair pose. And we exhale to stand tall, taking it to heart center. All right, so the circulation's moving. We'll get into a little bit of standing poses here. Here we go. So we'll take one more round like this, inhaling to go high, exhaling to dive low, inhaling to your number 7, and exhaling, step or hop back to plank. And same exhale is going to take you down. If the knees are up off the floor, the chest comes forward and you don't go too terribly low, inhaling to your back bend, exhaling downward facing dog. From here, let's inhale to send that right leg high, and we'll exhale to take that right knee toward the nose. This time, taking it forward, again finding our warrior 1. So back foot about 45 degrees or so. Inhaling to come up, feeling all that strength in the lower body. And an opening up through the chest. Even a lifting up and out of the low back here. Great. From here, take a big inhale, and as we exhale, we'll send those arms back. So fingertips reach back. This is grounded warrior. From grounded warrior, we're going to start to pick up that back foot. Finding our little airplane warrior here. We're going to try to keep the hips as level as possible. Flex that back foot. And if and when you're ready, maybe the arms reach forward, or they find your chair or your wall. Always nice to have an inanimate buddy for your yoga practice. Good, take a big inhale here. As we exhale, the hands are going to come down, standing splits. Shake out the head here, why not? See if you've been holding on there anywhere. Take a big inhale to take that back left foot a little bit higher, and exhaling, stepping that left foot back, stepping that right foot back. Your choice, you can come into a child's pose here, or take that vinyasa, your reverse push-up of choice, at knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga dandasana, inhaling to back bend of choice and exhaling downward facing dog. Great. From here, let's inhale to take that left leg up high, and exhale to take that left knee toward the nose,
And then we're going to step it forward, finding our warrior one on the left. So whenever your feet are set up here, you can inhale to come up. In our warrior one, we're trying to take the front knee toward the pinky toe to avoid it flopping to center. So think of that left thigh now kind of wrapping outward in an external rotation here. And that is going to help protect our knee joints. And then we're going to pivot the right hip forward, the left hip back, just to the point where my back right knee isn't feeling too squashed. Take a big inhale here, open up through the chest. As we exhale, we're going to take the fingertips back, the arms back, grounded warrior. All right, from here, we come into that balance. Airplane warrior is first, so we'll just see about walking the right toes forward and then beginning to lift that right foot. Trying not to grip at those left toes as much as we might feel this little wobbling action going on. Flex that back foot and then see if you're good with arms reaching forward here for a classic warrior three position. Reaching out through the back heel, the fingertips. Big inhale here, and as we exhale, the hands are going to come down standing splits. Inhaling that right leg higher, if you will. And exhaling, right foot steps back, left foot steps back. Let's find either a child's pose or a little in-between flow, making sure that we're following the breath. Meeting up in our downward facing dog. All right, from here, let's inhale to take that right leg high. And this time, maybe we even want to open up the hip. The right hip comes toward the ceiling, and I might look under my left underarm and wave hello to myself with my right foot. Hello there. And trying to keep equal weight through both hands and arms. And you're ready, your inhale centers it back up here. And as we exhale, we're taking that right knee in toward the nose again before we softly place that right foot forward. From there, we're gonna pivot that back foot, this time about parallel with short side of the mat, but we still want that left thigh here wrapping inwards, an internal rotation on that back thigh. Once we're set up with the feet, let's come to a T position with the arms in our warrior two. The front heel lines up about with the back instep or so. So here, feeling nice and strong in that warrior. We've got a lot of strength going on in the lower body here for sure. Breathing deeply, we've got that ribcage centered right over the hips. So check to see if you're leaning forward or back, and then see if you can just find that nice centered feeling here. Our gaze is over that right middle finger. All right, from here, we're going to clasp the hands behind the back. And inhaling, find a little opening of the chest. You could always do this without binding the hands together. And then as we exhale, we're going to find a humble warrior. Coming forward here so that front knee is still bent. And I'm reaching the hands behind my back. I'm reaching them as far up toward the ceiling as is comfortable and feels like a nice stretch for me. All right, as we inhale, we're going to come back up and we're going to begin to wrap the left arm under the right. So here's eagle arms. Now, for a little variation on eagle arms, if I don't want to quite go this far,
And if my forearms don't want to come parallel, I can just be giving myself a hug here and still be getting a nice shoulder stretch out of it. So the back of the hands might meet, the palms might meet, or that hug. Finding your eagle arms, and then eventually, where we're gonna go is walking the left foot forward, and then we're gonna wrap the left thigh over the right, finding our eagle pose. So you could use your left toes as a kickstand over the right side, or you can begin to wrap the foot around the back of the calf. We're hugging the legs together, we're hugging the arms together, and crossing the midline of the body is said to have some benefits for the nervous system. Oh, I'll take it. Breathing deeply here. And as we inhale, we're going to go ahead and kick everything out. As we exhale, come back to that standing splits. Take a big inhale to kick that leg higher, and then exhaling, we're going to take the left knee behind the right, curtsy bow. Good. Inhaling to reach it high, exhaling to curtsy bow. Let's try that one more time. Inhaling to kick it high, exhaling to curtsy bow. And this time, after the curtsy bow, we're going to leave our legs crossed the way they are and have a seat on the mat. So a couple of options here. You could take advantage of having that blanket and be sitting up on a blanket if that's more comfortable for you. Or, especially if that right hip wants to come up a lot, you can send the left leg out long on the mat. So either way, left leg bent or left leg straight. All right, so we're just seeing to both sides of our butt cheeks, finding the floor here, both butt cheeks, both hips. And we'll just see if we can find that grounding effect. Feels like we're actually sitting on the floor. All right, so we're gonna inhale the right arm high, exhaling the right hand right behind the tailbone here. Then we're gonna inhale the left arm high and exhale to come into this twist. All right, so that left elbow can come over on that thigh, or you can be just hugging the knee. We're gonna inhale to find some length in the spine, and then exhale, think of squeezing from the belly button into this twist. Just so far as feels nice to you. You're likely feeling a lot of compression in the center, in the tummy area, and the vertebrae are also kind of squeezing, wringing out. Make sure that on an exhale, you drop the shoulders down away from the ears. And then as we inhale, we're gonna release this twist forward. We're just gonna undo the legs here, deep pretzel. And from here, if you'd like to take another flow, you're certainly welcome to that, or take a child's pose for a couple of breaths. And we'll meet up in a downward facing dog here to complete that other side. So we'll inhale the left leg high, and then see if you want to open up the hips. So left hip comes up to the ceiling, and I'm gonna look under my right underarm and just see if I can wave hello to myself with my left foot. And at the same time, I'm gonna keep equal weight in the hands, pressing back. Fun times. Let's inhale and take it to center here, center it all up. And as we exhale, we'll take that left knee in toward the nose. Then finally, gently, softly stepping that left foot forward, back foot about parallel to short side of the mat here. Inhaling our way up into our warrior two. So we're bending that left front knee, but sending that left front knee toward the pinky toe, front thigh wraps out. The back thigh is wrapping more inward toward the center. Arms come out to a T here. And let's go for a nice front of the shoulder stretch here. So we'll take a little bind behind the back, clasping the hands, or not. You could always leave them unclasped. And as we inhale, we'll open up through the chest area, maybe even let the head fall back if that's comfortable for you. And as we exhale, we're gonna take humble warrior so that the left shoulder nestles into somewhere on that left leg. You're making contact with yourself here. Maybe bringing the hands higher if that feels nice on the shoulders. It sure does on mine. Lots of warriors in this flow, finding our inner strength. All right, from here, we're gonna come on back up, and then we're gonna find our eagle arms on this side. So you're gonna wrap the right arm under the left, and then find on this side where your eagle arms are, maybe giving yourself a hug, lining up the forearms, continuing to bend into that front knee for another breath or two. And then we're going to begin to walk that right foot forward and wrap the right thigh over the left, finding our full-on eagle pose, which is a balancing posture, a de-stressing posture, squeezing toward the midline posture, crossing the midline of the body. Breathing deep posture. That's all the postures in yoga. Check in with that breath. Check in with your balancing buddy over here, your chair, your wall. Big inhale to kick it all out, and exhaling to take the hands to the floor, right leg high. Standing splits. Take another big inhale to stretch, maybe a little higher, and then exhale, right knee behind the left, curtsy bow. Inhaling to kick it high, exhaling another curtsy bow. Inhaling high, exhaling to curtsy, and finally, we take it down and have a seat. And just check in to see if that left hip wants to ride up a lot. It's a good idea to take that right leg long just to allow the hips to center up in this pose. When your hips are feeling pretty grounded here, just settling in, we'll inhale to take that left arm high. We'll exhale to take the left hand right behind the tailbone. We'll inhale to take the right arm high, and exhale, either place that right elbow outside the thigh or simply hug into that leg. Inhaling to find some length, and exhaling, think of squeezing from the belly button to twist. Definitely some compression going on here, so go easy and gentle. I always say if it feels good, it must be good. But if it hurts, don't do it. All right, take another big inhale. As we exhale, let's make sure we're dropping the shoulders down away from the ears and go a little bit deeper into this twist if that feels nice. We're gonna inhale to unwind. This time, we're gonna leave the legs crossed the way they are. You can reach that blanket. You might wanna go ahead and take it and place it right under your butt, so you're kind of sitting on the blanket, which is a bit of an assist in this pose. So we're finding cow face legs, which is the left knee stacked over the right. And I'm sending each foot out to the opposite side. So classically, in our shoelace or cow face pose, the knees are stacked, but they don't have to be. And you're just reaching the feet out to either side. So our intention here is to get a nice hip stretch. We're not going to do the cow face arms this time. This might be plenty of a hip stretch for you, or it might be too much, in which case you would simply want to go crisscross applesauce here, which is also a beautiful posture. So find your place here, take a big inhale, and as we exhale, if you want a little bit more stretch to the hips, you can walk it forward, belly comes to the thigh. Find a soft edge here. No pulling or forcing, but a soft edge to where you're really feeling something, especially in that left glute. And let's hang out here for a bit and breathe. So it's a hip stretch and it's a forward fold. Forward folds are said to be calming to the nervous system. Aha. As we're ready, we're going to walk our way back up ever so gently. And then we'll again de-pretzel the legs, maybe take a little windshield wiper side to side. And then we'll begin to cross the right knee over the left. And see if you want to crawl the feet out to either side. So in Hatha Yoga or Vinyasa Yoga, we call this Gomukhasana, cow face pose, but in Yin Yoga, they call it shoelace. And this would be technically double shoelace. Anyway, once you're situated and you've got left knee more or less stacked over the right, see if you want to just hang out here. Another option is to just grab onto the big toes. I didn't mention that the other side, but you can. My preference is to begin to crawl the fingertips forward as we come forward. And just see what's going on in that right glute. And whatever it is, we keep breathing deeply. Notice that as we hang out here and have just the thought of softening and breathing deeply, we might feel some muscles begin to let go. And indeed soften. A few more breaths here. And then, as you're ready, we'll go ahead and walk the hands back towards the legs. With the support of the hands, we then uncross the legs, maybe send them side to side, windshield wiper style. Right. So we're getting some really nice restorative poses in here. Our last seated pose will be just a simple forward fold with more or less wide legs. So you may want to grab a block or two here, or have your blanket handy in front of you, or just depending, you may want to still be seated on the blanket. Pick your level of blanket, a little thinner, a little thicker. And so we don't want to come to our edge with this wide leg situation here. We want it to feel soft and manageable, because we'll be in this forward fold for a bit. So just having your props handy, begin to inhale to lift. Go ahead and let the feet flop. We're not going to flex them or anything.
And then see about walking forward. Now I'm taking my forearms onto the folded blanket. You could also use the blocks for this. The other option, which I really love to do, is take a block or 2 blocks if you want to stack them, and place your forehead on the block, or books are also great for this. So give this a few breaths. And if you're really starting to feel it in the inner thighs a lot, don't take the legs as wide. You really want to be able to soften into this without forcing. Keep this at least 10 breaths here. Great to calm the nervous system. We're even getting a little acupressure on the forehead if we've got the forehead on the block. If you're feeling bendy, maybe even releasing it down to the blanket or the floor. Let's take a super deep inhale, inhale, inhale. And then exhaling to sigh out. Allow the back to curve, allow the head to hang heavy wherever you are. And then as we inhale, we'll go ahead and come on up. Just giving yourself a little wiggle around, releasing any stiffness that may have come with holding this posture. And we'll begin to come down onto our backs. I recommend keeping the blanket handy in case you want it for your final resting pose. So from here, simply lowering ourselves down to the mat. All right. So first we'll do, once we're down here, is take the feet about hip width apart. And this allows, with the knees up, this allows the lower back to really hug into the floor. Palms are by the sides. And then, very slowly and deliberately, we're going to inhale, take the entire inhale to take the hips high and the arms up, the hands up overhead. Top of the breath is the top of the movement. As we exhale, we're going to ever so slowly take the back down to the floor, the hips back down to the floor, the hips and the hands meet at about the same time. And just sending a little kind of tension into your thighs so that they're hugging inward and they're not splitting out as you're coming up. Sometimes it's even helpful to place a block in between the thighs just to get some awareness there, but your choice. So as we inhale again, we'll send the arms up overhead, we'll send the hips high, timing the breath with the movement. And then exhaling, taking the entire breath to come all the way down. Let's try that one more time. Once you're all the way down, once again, inhaling, the hips high, the arms overhead, and exhaling very slowly. Like you're giving yourself a nice back massage coming all the way back down. And once we're all the way back down, hips meet the earth, we're going to send the knees side to side, windshield wiper style. And then your choice, whatever you would like to do here at the end of the practice, maybe hugging in, maybe taking a little happy baby, rolling it side to side, and eventually we'll come into our full-on Shavasana. So final resting pose is like a face-up paper doll shape. With the palms up toward the ceiling, this symbolizes receiving the benefits of the practice. And you may want to take a blanket, your blanket, and maybe fold it up so that it's a long shape. And you could place it right under your knees, which feels really nice on the low back when you're in this position. So giving yourself a few moments of complete relaxation. Relaxing from the toes, the soles of the feet, up through the legs. Allow the hips to release and the belly. Allow the heart to soften, to open. Allow relaxation to come into the shoulders, down the arms, through the wrists and the hands and the fingers. That relaxation travels back up through the throat, the jaw, the tongue. Eyes, forehead. Allowing that low back to melt into the floor. Just soften. Just as gently as you came into this final resting pose, you can begin to start reawakening the body. Just whenever you're ready, staying here as long as you like if you've got more time. And when you're ready to come out of it, just wiggling out fingers and toes, ankles, wrists, sending the head side to side and just allowing that movement to come back into the body however it will. Maybe giving yourself a stretch up overhead. Inhaling here and then exhaling to hug the knees right into the center, rolling it around and then rolling it over to your favorite side. Coming to rest there for a moment to really feel the body still heavy into the earth and supported there, and then pushing yourself up gently from the hands and coming to a comfortable seat here. Taking a few breaths and noticing how you feel. Thank you so much for joining me for yoga today. Looking forward to seeing you again. Be well. Namaste.